Hello, everyone! Welcome to our Alternative Places concert. My name is Jason Crispin. I got a new ring light. I'm glowing. I'm going to kind of turn it down a touch. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday. If you are new to Alternative Places concert, we try to go live every Friday at 7 o'clock to talk about a show that we've done, bring back a cast. It's going to be a great night. Tonight we're featuring the cast of Mary Poppins. That's right, Mary Poppins. This was such a fun show. Cannot wait to bring in all of our guests and talk about what an amazing show that was. But before we begin, we want to remind you guys, as you guys are sitting home at night tonight watching the show, if you guys have any comments or questions, be sure to ask in that Facebook comment section or in the YouTube comment section. Be sure to like and share all of the good things. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to make sure that you guys are spreading the word about what ALT is still doing now and in the future. And as you guys are watching, if you're like, this is great, I want to help the theater, I want to make sure to keep theater going alive in the Texas Panhandle, we of course want to remind you to go to AmarilloLittleTheater.org and click on donations. And also new to ALT, we have a Venmo account. What? We're in the newest 2020 century. What? Holla. So you can donate at any point to ALT by donating at Venmo at Amarillo-Theater. And you can even put in your comments that you're donating because of the Alternative Places concert or Mary Poppins or whatever. So we're so glad that you guys, again, are tuning in tonight. If this is your first time to tune into an Alternative Places concert, this is our 9th concert. That's right, our 9th concert. We had a repeat last week. We had Ghost Light Awards. We've had also tons of stuff going on, but this will be our 9th concert. And what Alternative Places is basically we want to remind you guys that we are all going to be in different places tonight, that we're all still practicing social distancing. We're all still trying to make sure that we're all staying safe. So we're all going to be in different places tonight. And then, of course, the word places in theater is the term to use when actors need to get ready to go on stage. So all of our amazing actors are in their spots ready to tell you stories and sing songs, and it's going to be a great night. And then we, of course, want to remind you that ALT is still the place to be, even though we can't open our doors yet to welcome you into our ALT home. We're so excited that you guys are inviting us into your home tonight, and we hope to provide you with some great entertainment and remind you about the great professional, amazing talent we have at ALT. All right, guys, without further ado, also, we've already got some comments, which is great. Courtney Frazier, that's what I'm saying. If any of you cast members, I wish we could have everyone on, but any of you that are watching, we hope you guys comment. Courtney, this was your first show. Beth Alexander says, me too. I love it. Christy Word, I was hoping you guys were watching. Good evening, Jason. So excited for another Friday evening Alternative Places. Woo woo! Christy, I want to make you an Alternative Places shirt. You guys are like my #1 people. Watch it every week. I love it. Hey, Alan Burns, so glad you're watching. Geraldine and Gary, hello. Glad you got Larry Morris are watching as well. Daniel, hi, Jason, Christy, and Daniel watching for another Friday fun show. I love it. All of our fun fans. Mabry's also a fan. Love you, Mabry. Can't wait for this. Thanks, Mabes. Susan, can't wait for tonight. Holla, Susan. We're so glad you're watching. And Alan says, love my Friday night Alternative Place watch party. I love it. Yeah, instead of Friday night lights like football, it's Friday night lights different with ALT Alternative Places. I love it. Okay, so let's get started. We want to talk about our amazing show. This production was in 2017, so not too long ago, but long enough for Mr. Jason not to remember all of the stories until he talked to everyone this week. I was like, oh yeah, those stories. I'm getting old. It's so sad. But first up, we want to bring, of course, our amazing leading lady herself. Let's bring in that practically perfect Miss Kristen Lloyd. Hi, my friend. I have it on the rooftops of London.
Oh, it's so lovely to be here.
It's good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? How's your world? How's everything going on in your life?
Doing well. We're now kind of used to this alternative normal that we're living in. Things are going well. My kids are handling it pretty well, and we're just trying to stay busy and
yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, I love it. That's a gorgeous map you have back there.
Oh, thank you. My sweet mother was kind enough to let me come to her office because at my home I have 2 young children and a very loud large dog.
Oh yeah, they would be running all over. They'd be crazy. It would be insane for sure. I love it.
I can show all the places Mary Poppins has been.
Exactly. You're like, and she traveled here, and then she went here. Okay, so let's just dive into talking about Mary Poppins. I was when I was looking at photos, I forgot how great our curtain. We had that great logo on the frame drape, which is such a fun logo at the very beginning of our show. Did you grow up reading the books? Did you watch the movie? How did you get involved, or how did you meet Mary Poppins?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up watching the movie and I was absolutely obsessed. I was a Mary Poppins fanatic. I was a dress up, pretend I was Mary Poppins child. I didn't watch the books until I was in my upper 20s, maybe even in my 30s. And I love the books. I read the books shortly before I auditioned to play her the first time. And that was really fun because it gave me a lot of sight into who she really was that the Disney movie didn't really delve into very much. So, or all the things that the Disney movie didn't tell you about her. So it was really neat to learn more about her. But the movie was a huge part of my childhood that I adored. Yes.
I love that you said childhood because your mom's, she recently found a photo, right, that you shared with me. Look at baby Kristen dressed up as Mary Poppins. How cute is that? Your umbrella and your bag and your hat.
Yeah, this was Mary Poppins. My Mary Poppins look. I had this little slip dress that I just thought was so fancy, and my umbrella, my mom's gym bag for my carpet bag, and my little flower hat. And I would open up that umbrella and jump off the couch and sing all her songs. And I was Mary Poppins.
I love it. It's adorable. It's so cute. I love that you did that. I love that. I as well. I grew up with the movie. I didn't know any of the books or anything like that beforehand. And I loved, of course, the show, and I loved all like the magic aspect of it and stuff like that. I didn't grow up necessarily thinking like I'm gonna play Bert when I'm older. Like I was not a theater kid or anything like that. But I just loved his character. I loved his nature of storytelling, and I just loved his relationship with Mary Poppins. How they were like BFFs, and so yeah, I grew up with the movie as well. And then Dick Van Dyke for me was just like the ultimate, entertainer for sure.
Amazing. And then they took the show to Broadway, and incredible atmosphere for dancers to be a part of that like amazing story. So you got to put your acting and singing chops mixed in with your incredible dance skill into that character, and it was so cool to watch you bring. Oh, it was so cool.
I'll pay you later.
So much fun.
I know, yeah, that was a fun. The dancing aspect of that role, I definitely I try to sink my teeth in. By the way, Ann Langford said that your picture was precious, which I just love. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. So obviously we were so lucky. We had a brilliant cast in this show. We should say Alan Schenkel's artistic director, of course, Jennifer Akins, music director extraordinaire. Sean Walsh outdid himself with the choreography for this show. It was just top notch all the way around. But our cast, in fact, we have a picture of our first rehearsal. Our cast was absolutely fantastic. We had, it was our collaboration, of course, with our Academy show. But it was just such a fun show. And to think like people like Beth Alexander and Courtney Frazier and people who are now big volunteers now at ALP. It was our first show, which is so exciting. But I love that photo of us all, and look how bright-eyed and bushy-tailed we all were, weren't we?
Everyone's so excited. I was just chomping at the bit to get started.
Everyone's like, "Yeah, Mary Poppins!" And then after the end, we were like, "Oh, I'm so sweaty and tired and old." I love it. And this was your second time to play Mary Poppins. Obviously, you played Mary Poppins in Midland, which I think that was so fun. How was it recreating that role for you?
It was really fun. I had some, going into it, I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to audition because, you have that, like, I've experienced this and it was so special, but then you get into it again and it's so special again. It was just really cool being able to do it twice with two completely different casts and completely different experiences, but it was equally magical. It was,
for sure.
It was
for sure.
Same feeling because that show just brings with it a vibe that is there no matter who gets to do it together. It's, you know what I mean? It's just really cool.
Well, and that's what I loved about this musical, that all the classic moments that you know and love from the movie were definitely, in it. I love the scene where you of course measured the kids and talked about how tall they were, but yet their height measurement was basically a characteristic of what they were. And of course, yes. Like your voice, of course, just was perfect for this role. And how fun was it that, you are known as Mary Poppins. Like, you are Mary Poppins at ALT and in our community.
It's super, super cool because really, honestly, one of the big differences in this experience and the last experience is in Midland, they don't go out and mingle in the lobby after. It's that, it's just a different experience. They go and they're done. And some people can come backstage and hang out in the wings and talk to the actors if they want to, that kind of thing. But there's not a cast line. So getting to experience that the second time, it was incredible because the children, this show is all about the children. It's about the magic of the children. The fact that I knew the show would end and there would be at least another 45 minutes where I was Mary Poppins. And that was really cool because just the kids coming and taking pictures and just wanting to hug me and talk to Mary Poppins was incredible. It was the highlight, I think, of this experience, which is hard because everything about this experience was amazing, but the children it made it so special.
You
so
had the longest line for photos and autographs after the show. We were out, we were done, we were on our way to go get food, and we were like, oh, sorry, Kristen's still talking to all those children. Yeah. Also, big shout out, of course, to Tana Robertson. Her set design was absolutely gorgeous for this show. We, of course, had the rooftops that we all got to be on, of course. I love this. This was our promo photo for the show, which I just absolutely love that photo. Me and my parachute
band.
It was
so beautiful. The parachute band, the color and the set brought that show was outstanding because it really, as an actor, really took you there. And you really were in it because the set was so detailed and it was so beautiful and it was so vivid. It was incredible. Props to Tana for sure.
The color scheme for the show, it was so bright and just so fun. Kim Streffler was our costume coordinator as well. She did an absolute fantastic job coordinating so many beautiful colors. Beth says, I have to say I was so nervous for the vocal rehearsals, but Kristen let me stand next to her and she was amazing and so helpful. Kristen, you are the best. That's awesome.
I love you, Beth.
Speak volume.
Always my friend.
I was standing by Kaden Burns. I was like, Kaden, can you sing that Allstate voice a little bit louder in my ear, please? But I love it. I know, but our whole cast was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
A fun memory that I had with the show that I kind of forgot until I was looking back at photos. This was the first time I think in a show that I got to start the show. You know how like a show starts and like somebody else usually starts or different things like that. And this was the first time when like curtains open and I'm the first person to do anything. And I've just always got so nervous. It was like, ugh, like this nervous feeling. So,
which is so
go ahead.
Well, it was amazing. It's amazing that character is so awesome because you narrate the whole thing, but you're right in the middle of it, and you just did that so beautifully. So lovely.
You're kind. I definitely felt stronger with the acting and the dance and the vocals. Yeah, I had to win people over. by the end of the show. They're like, let's talk about props. You had a bazillion props, not only in the show, but also just out of that bag. And that was such a cool element that Anna did for us, for you, pulling out every element that you had in the nursery out of that bag. How was that? Yes. I think you had a fun story about the bag props.
Well, you asked me if there were any mishaps or if I had any funny, experiences with certain props. And really what I remember, because most of my props were in that scene, singing Practically Perfect, pulling magical things out of my bag. Fortunately for me, I had Brandon Camfani sitting underneath the table. I shouldn't be giving away stage secrets or whatever. I had someone but he was, oh, look at him, he's so cute. Oh my goodness.
I found that photo, I was like, oh, that's a perfect photo.
That has to go in there. And he was down there, squeezed into this teeny tiny space, ready to hand me exactly what I needed, exactly the right way I needed it. But there were some larger pieces that came out of that bag. There was the mirror and there was a coat rack and all these things. And there may have been a time or two where I was pulling something out and I kind of in my haste just pulled and I hear folk, oh. And I'm sorry, Brandon, if I hurt you pulling out my props. He was such a pro. And I had zero or fear because I knew that he was under there and he was going to be on the ball. He was just phenomenal.
Yeah, he was going to take care of you. He might get a bruise here and there, but that was okay. That was okay.
And then he was going to fly me later, so I had to be kind of careful with him.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, don't want to make you too mad at me. Alan Burns said the rooftop set lighting was fantastic. Agreed. All of the set and the lighting was just absolutely beautiful for sure. I loved how our characters in the musical kind of met the same way that they do in the movie when he's drawing on the floor, his chalk paintings, and then you step into his shadow. And I found that photo. I love that moment of like, wait a minute, I know this outline, and that was just a fun moment for me. I loved that that's how our characters got to meet in the show.
That was it's iconic, and I love to relive it.
For sure. Also, can you talk about how? Also, let's go back to the nursing real quick because I just remembered. Can you talk about the toy box lid?
Yes. So there was this scene where the toys come to life and they come out of this really beautiful toy chest. Well, that beautifully built chest is solid wood, and the lid I open and close. And after one of our songs playing the game, all of the toys get back in and go back into their little chest. And so who was first and last out. And there was, I'm pretty sure there was one night, maybe two, that he was getting back into the chest, and I go to close the lid, and it just escaped me and kind of thunked right down on his head.
I love it. So lessons learned, be careful if you're coming in and out of bags or boxes around Kristen.
If you're a toy coming to life or you're a prop being magicked onto the stage, just beware. Yes.
I love it. When I saw that photo, I was like, oh, we got to tell that story. I just love that. Another element of the show that was so magical for both of us was that we both got to fly in the show, which I thought was so fun.
It's amazing. It's so.
You got to fly 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I flew in to. I flew out of the first act, and then I flew back in for the second act with the kite. That was during Let's Fly Kites. And then at the end, when I leave the family, I fly off to my next family.
I love it. And yeah. I forgot, whenever we were talking about flying and rigging, you and I had different harnesses because my flying, I got to fly in step-in time, which was so much fun. But with my flying, I had to do flips. And so I had a different harness because I had to go upside down, which I totally forgot that you had a different harness than I did.
Right. Mine was just kind of a seat harness. So it was, not uncomfortable, which is great. So, but it was the same. It had the same 2 wires connected on the sides, but not nearly as like tight or kind of confining as yours had to be.
You got to take yours off and do quick change back into it, right? Throughout the night. And I was in it until I couldn't take it off until the middle of act 2. Yeah.
No, I was very fortunate that I could take mine on and off as needed.
Alan says, was there a weight limit on the harness setup? I don't think there was, but let's just say you and I both, more so me, we both knew that we were going to be flying. So I went on the strictest diet. I worked out 3 times a day. I had not had a carb in months. I was trying to get the skinniest I could for those guys, so that way whenever they lifted us or lifted me, that I wouldn't kill them basically.
Yeah, same. Not only do you want just feel good and you feel fit, but when people are going to be manually hoisting you into the air with a rope, you want to make their job as easy as possible.
Yeah, exactly. It was oh, maybe I should not have had that big lunch. So sorry, guys.
We were buddies in the whole, you can do it, let's do this, let's get where we want to be for the fights.
And fun fact, we all, or Kristen and I, after the show was done, the first thing we had queso at Leal's, which they gave to us for free when they heard that that was our first thing that we ate after dieting for Mary Poppins.
We did. The week after the show closed, you better believe we were at Leal's for a lunch date, eating all the queso.
It's true. I had a queso margarita. I had a queso appetizer. I had a queso dinner, queso dessert, queso to go. It was awesome.
It was amazing.
Just in, Savante, he forgives you. He forgives you for all.
Oh, thank you. I knew he would. He's
huge shout out to you, Savante. Savante just got married. Congratulations, Savante.
Congratulations, you and your precious wife.
Oh, they're a gorgeous couple. I'm so sad that their plans got changed, but we're so glad that you are still able to get married. You guys are a beautiful, beautiful couple. So congratulations. I love that. Also with this show, we had we were so busy with this show. We had to help promote it. Oh wait, I gotta show this photo now because if I don't, I'll forget. And I'm gonna talk later with some of the other cast members about during intermission when I would have to test all of my stuff. But when I would test all my stuff, Kristen one night she came out during intermission and we took this photo. And I love it. It's like, Kristen is that strong that she's holding Jason as he's Superman, and I loved it. The
magic of the theater.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, I love this photo as well. I found last minute I have a throw in of our silhouetted for the Globe News, which is just fun.
That's one of my very favorites. I love that photo.
Yeah. Oh, me too. We also had a great tea party that you hosted. We had gorgeous tables that were set up at the Adventure Space. Some of our tables here. It was such a fun time at the Adventure Space. Kids came and you guys sang for it. It was just a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Serving tea and cookies, and that was a magical time. And more kids got to experience you and got to take pictures with you. And I thought that was a magical night or magical afternoon for sure.
It was very sweet.
Yeah. The other thing I had to throw in a picture of my nephew because my nephew he came and saw the show. And I remember you and I were on the cookies. We got lucked out that we were on the cookies at the concession stand.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I don't have a cookie of you, but I have a cookie of my nephew holding me up. And fun fact, I don't think he ate it. I don't think he was like, I can't eat my uncle, so he never ate his cookie.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, I had to show that photo. Let's also talk real quick about you and I had some quick changes. Oh Lord, did we have changes?
One, really, in particular. So yes, we had the absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, jolly holiday scene, and the costumes are so beautiful and wonderful, but we had to completely change everything from the toe and we had about 30 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
Our teams were new dress, new shoes, vest, hat, new umbrella, everything. It was fast. So there was a whole lot happening backstage while those sweet little kids were sitting there talking to the statue coming to life.
Yes. Yeah. I love it that we were in these costumes. We literally ran off stage right, ran back on in completely different costumes. And then at the end of the number, after this big, to do at the end of the number, had to run off stage left. The opposite side, our costumers had to take our costumes from one side of the stage to the other for us to do a quick change back. I was like, woo.
Yes.
You had shoe. We both had a shoe change. Order. Yeah, you had a hat change, your umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 pairs of socks on for that number, and I would peel my black socks off and have white socks, and then I would peel the white socks off and have my black socks. It was like,
yeah, got to be prepared. Yes, but it was literally like go off the stage, and while someone's taking down the zipper of one thing, other people are taking off your shoes, and then you step into the other shoes, and you step into the dress, and they're zipping you, and you're zipping, and you're praying that your hat gets pinned back on right, and the umbrella is ready to go, and the buttons get all done. Yeah, it was fast and furious, and we had just finished a bounce number, all sweaty anyway, and out of breath.
It was like, ah!
And then we get back on and just have to act all cool and collected like we're fine.
And the other thing too, I remember, it was like I remember thinking I don't want to do anything wrong to make Christian late. Like if it was my own entrance, I would be a little bit more relaxed. But I was like, I gotta make sure I'm not the one holding up our show. Yeah.
Same. And the kids were still on stage, so we had to like get stage to be with them. So there were lines and things you couldn't be like, you had to be there. It would have been very noticeable if we hadn't been there on time.
So true.
But it was brilliant. It worked out.
Yeah. Looking at comments real quick, Kristen or Amber says, Kristen, you complimented what I was wearing in the lobby after the show. The first time I ever talked to you. How cute!
Oh my goodness!
I love that.
I love it. And I love her so dearly. We got to do Sweeney Todd together, me and Amber, and it's just so much fun.
Love that. Susan says, those were my grandmother's cups and saucers that were 50 years old. I love that. I love how all the volunteers decorated the table. That was so, I just love that. I love it. Oh, Amber said it was the pink suit, by the way. Just in case you were wondering what she was wearing, this just in, the pink suit. Oh, no. Maybe she's talking about your pink suit, maybe. Your pink suit is what she's probably talking about. Yeah. And then Melanie, that was a sweet suit to Jason. Listen, if
Lavender's is
ready to go march in the Easter parade after that, wearing that, I was just, whoo. He was ready.
It's all about the lavender.
Yeah. Oh, it's just Shannon said Christian's zipper on the white boots was awful and got stuck almost every night.
It was a delightful challenge every show.
Yeah, for sure. And we were so lucky that other cast members literally were there for us to quick change us. Which, I mean, God bless them for that, because we needed every hand helping with a zipper and a button and a hat and all that good stuff. Okay, so one of the things that we used in the show that we sold and then Alan gave us all was our spoonful of sugar. I don't know if you can see that. Our spoonful of sugar spoons. I have mine on my desk. And so I was like, oh,
I still have mine.
Yeah, I love that Alan did those for the cast, and then we sold them at the show. But speaking of spoonful of sugar, Kristen, will you do our first song for the night? And I think you're going to sing a little spoonful of sugar for us, correct?
A spoonful of sugar.
All right, awesome. Take it away, my friend.
Okay. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game, and every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a spree. It's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. The robin feathering his nest has very little time to rest, whilst gathering his bits of twine and twig. Though quite intent in pursuit, he has a merry tune to toot. He knows the song will move the job along. For the spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. The honey bees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb never tire of the buzzing to and fro, because they take little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For the spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful
Woo! She's so good. She's not Ida. I love it.
fun. It's so much fun to revisit that.
You know what? It's nice hearing you sing about nice things instead of baking people into pies this year. You know, you could use a spoonful of sugar to make those pink pies.
This is fun. This was fun too.
Both characters, for sure. I love it. Oh, so good and so talented. As always.
Thank you, friend.
And literally, I mean that right there. That's how I think of you in the show with that gorgeous. You just needed the birds to come in and help you cook and clean and all that.
I know. Stuff. I needed some whistle with me.
I love it. All the fans are commenting. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna bring you back shortly. We're gonna trickle you throughout the show, but we're gonna talk to two more cast members. So we're gonna go have you talk to your umbrella for a little bit and maybe make a if you will. Oh wait, more comments are coming in. Christian, your voice matches your heart and both are reflected in your mirror. Yes, okay. And then Mitchell, you two are both so talented, it's crazy. Thanks, Mitchell, so sweet.
Mitchell.
Susan, we can't see all of the emojis, but we see the angel emoji, which we love. I love it. Oh, and then, Cindy said, Mira, you finished that sentence for us. Thanks so much. I love it. I love it.
So sweet. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll see you in a little bit, Kristen. We'll be right back with you. Okay. All right, so now we want to bring in two of the amazing, most talented people I know as well. The kindest, amazing, fantastic, both on and off stage. We're going to bring in, of course, I'm talking about Mr. and Mrs. Banks themselves. Look at them there. They're absolutely amazing, fantastic. We're going to bring in Miss Bethany Fields, Mr. Brandon Beller. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Look at you guys looking all beautiful and just fantastic. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And Brandon, you just landed. Like, you just got off a plane.
So, and the plane thankfully landed about 20 minutes early.
Oh.
So we landed in Dallas, went and grabbed some things. I literally, I ran in the door, said hi to everybody, stuffed my face because they had a wonderful meal prepared. So I was stuffing ribs and baked potato, and I was like, okay, I gotta go. Ran upstairs. So here I am. So
I'm calling me. I gotta run.
And here I've been prepared for hours.
I'm used to eating on the run. It's the theater thing. So
Bethany's made tea. She's painted a page.
Here?
She sent it in the text like she's having tea, and I'm like, she just has it down. Like she is the opposite of what Mrs. Banks was in the show, which God love her. She was
so true. Oh my gosh, so true, so true. You guys both. Well, first I want to find out, how did you guys fall in love with Mary Poppins? How did you figure out? Did you know the show? Did you know the movie, the book? How did you know about it?
You go first.
Okay. Well, I grew up watching, like Kristen. I think I also had that little slip, the same one that she had on. I think I had that, and I grew up watching it with my grandma and my mother, and with my sister, and of course Julie Andrews, a hero, next to Shirley Jones. Those two ladies right there. They inspired so much of my love of musical theater, because I got to see all of those movies so many times. My grandmother had them recorded, and so I could pop them in every time I was at her house, and we would just sit and we would watch it together. So I just, of course, you can't help but love that story.
Oh, for sure, for sure. What about you, Brandon?
I'm trying to remember the first time that I even watched the movie. The movie obviously was first, and I didn't realize until they actually made it into a musical. And so when they made it into the musical, it's a little bit different. I mean, when the title even kind of seems different. So I didn't realize that that the whole story was based on a series by P.L. Travers. Right. I mean, I had no idea. And the stories are kind of dark. Like when you go back and read them, she is not this cheery, lovey, even though she's stern in the movie and the musical, she's not like that. And the little excerpts of the books I've read. Right. But yes, I just growing up watching that. We didn't have it on I've dated myself. VHS.
Me neither. I didn't have that on VHS.
I dated myself.
Right. Well, yeah. So it was just when I started listening to the musical version, the Broadway musical version, I just even more so, because I felt like they gave a lot more depth to these characters, and then they brought in characters from the books, which added another element just in itself.
I think both of your characters, yes, the movie, has your characters and the third line, but in the musical, I think it totally made your characters developed way more. It pulled so much stuff from the books. I mean, the story really is Mr. Banks' story in a weird way. Like, yes, the kids and all that stuff, but I feel like really both of your characters changed so much. And I want to talk about y'all's character arc here in a little bit. But before I get to that, I want to talk real quick. Brandon, wasn't it? I felt so just humbled and so thankful that you and I both got to perform with our kids, with our students on this show.
Always, and that's always such a great blessing for both of us on either side, whoever's in that. But I mean, just being there with you and me, and then it's like, okay, so I've said this before about Hairspray, but then they get to watch both of us do all these things that we tell them what to do, and then we're doing it. They're like, oh, okay, yeah.
They get to see.
But
The thing I love that they get to see our work ethic. You know what I mean on stage. Like look, I'm doing my job as an actor alongside you.
Well, and you were so the thing is, you were so faithful about being backstage and going through things before to make sure you were spot on.
Look, I still got my script handy right next to me just in case I need it tonight.
I love that. But you did
my brain. Ugh.
Yeah, but you were always you were saturated in it, and which was great because and that's to say, like, maybe the 3 times for blip seconds that I was crossing your path if you weren't on stage or I wasn't on stage. So anytime you were working or going through lines or you moved and you worked the whole show. It just
it was a labor of love for sure, because it was we all wanted to do our absolute best, and I think all of us didn't want to be like the low point of the show. So we all just kept working harder and harder and built a beautiful show.
It was a cast full of theater veterans and theater teachers.
Yes.
You know, then you have Christy's a music teacher, so you had this cast that is. I mean, it was really an encouraging, but I think we prodded each other on just by our own work ethic, not even maybe meaning to, but everyone was they showed up and they came to work, which was awesome.
Completely agreed. I also I was gonna say, I have to commend both of you guys. Both of you had amazing accents. Your dialect was spot on in the show. Every time I would just hear you guys like, oh, it was so good. It was so good.
British is always fun, and Bethany's was
one. It's the easiest one.
Bethany's like, I go to United and I use that accent and I get a discount. I love it.
It's always fun to do dialect. It's a challenge as a singer. It's fun because I'm using a lot of things that I use in singing to try to make the dialect happen. But it was so. I guess I don't even think there was a moment where you or I didn't use the dialogue.
You guys were always. I mean, completely, yeah. And then I was like the Cockney one, like the poor guy. But you guys were always spot on. Like everything you guys would say or sing, I was like, their vowel placement is perfection. Oh, it was so good.
Well, and just talk about the two of us working together, the chemistry, because I mean, I had known Bethany. We had hugged at parties, said hello, but like we became very like instant. It was like instant friends, instant connection there with us, and it just made that relationship work. The whole show. Like, who's with a cat?
Yeah, my cat. Oh. My family is watching it in the other room, I think. I kind of hear it.
It looked like a ghost just opened the door, and then you see the theater stage hand pull the door shut.
Love it.
Magic of the theater.
Magic of the theater, exactly. Bethany, let's talk. You and I had a similar problem in the show that basically was we would sing many a song in the show, and it was basically the same song, but a different lyric. This time was a different melody. Now it's going to sing this melody. Now sing this lyric with this melody. Like, yours was, what was yours? Yours was
Cherry Tree Lane and Being Mrs. Banks are the two songs that really, the entire Banks family is very separated from the ensemble as a whole.
Right.
We were never on the stage whenever the ensemble was on. And so there was almost kind of two casts. We were very separate. And most of the scenes that I was in were in the Banks home. We were, entering from the kitchen or, stage right or stage left, singing some version of Cherry Tree Lane, in my case, Being Mrs. Banks. And every single scene, I had to get almost to that scene, an entire scene before, go through my lines and my song to make sure I was singing the correct lyric for that scene and really reminding myself where I was in the show, because it was just, there was so much of the same music.
Oh, completely agreed. I had like 17,000 different versions of Chim Chim Tree. I was like, is this the Chim Chim Tree that we're in the winter? Am I on the rooftop? What Chim Chim Tree is this? I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So I felt your pain in that. But you both of you, oh my gosh, your vocals in this show were just gorgeous, gorgeous. You guys both had beautiful solos in the show, and all the songs that you guys sang were just fantastic. Let's talk about y'all's character arc. Let's talk Bethany first. Mrs. Banks had such a great character arc in the show, you know, being timid at the beginning. You know, I love how your character sang through the show as well. Talk about your character arc with this show.
Well, you know, whenever we first auditioned for this show, I really was wanting to be Winifred because I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. I really just felt very connected to her. And, you know, she's at the beginning, she's so worried. She wants the best for her children. She's worried about her husband, who is so stressed out all the time. And she's trying to make things work in her house. And of course, she needs it, you know, the nanny to come and help her along. She had trouble with some previous nannies. They didn't work out for her. And so, but throughout the show, you know, it's not only just a story about a family coming together, you know, Mr. Banks and Mrs. Banks falling in love again at the end, and just really just connecting with their children with Mary Poppins' help, which I had one scene with Kristen at the very beginning whenever we hired her, and I think that's the only scene I had with her.
Really? I didn't know that.
And then I never saw her backstage ever, except for right before Spoonful of Sugar. We had a quick change backstage, and we would hold hands and be like, how's your show? How's your show? You know, we were checking in on each other, but that is the only time, because each one of us were just never on stage together.
Wow, I love that. Wait, I'm going to bring in Kristen for that real quick. I love that. That's so cool. I didn't know that. I love finding out these little stories.
Well, it's so great because we were behind the set together right before Spoonful of Sugar, and it like became like an every show thing. Bethany would come over and she would grab my hands and she'd squeeze, and it was so reassuring and it was so comforting, and it was such like a Mrs. like, you good, everything good, and it was, I mean, like, it was awesome. It just became a really neat moment. Even though we didn't share a bunch of stage time, we had those little crisscrosses, squeeze, everything's
And I have to give a shout out to Jenny Morgan, because she did my quick things every night. And, you know, she was back there with me, helping, and she was awesome. So we had fun.
I love it. Brandon, let's have you talk about your character arc as well.
You know, the kind of the character arc of George Banks, and I think when she was talking about, it's not just about the family coming together, you know, Bethany hit the nail on the head. I think these people had forgotten who they were.
Sure. Oh, so true.
In a huge way. And it's just like in life, we get so busy and caught up in the day-to-day that we really start forgetting about things that are important.
Right.
And while we're trying to do those things like provide for our families, make everything work and happen, we forget about if there's no family there to have, or that your partner, your other person to have, then it's not worth all the work. So I think George had forgotten who he was. Yeah. And the biggest thing for me is, as I wanted to make his arc, I didn't want him to come off like the dad in the 60s movie, because it was just this weird kind of slapstick anger.
Sure.
You know, yeah. I wanted people to feel like really the whole point was for people not to like him at first. You know, and that was I took a little bit of that from the movie Saving Mr. Banks, because he was, you know, she wrote him like that because I think she was very disappointed in her own father and that relationship, and he was not a bad man, but so he starts off really hard. He'd forgotten who he was. He'd forgotten that he dreamed. He forgot that he was a kid. He forgot that he fell in love. He forgot all of those things. And so you have this man who is just so focused on making money, and what probably started as a good reason had just gotten lost along the way. And so the whole point was to take him from that really hard, and then I'm telling you, that arc in the middle, and that scene, the picture that you just showed with on the bench, right there, is where, you know, the things that really mattered I lost along the way. You know, that's where he has that realization, and he goes back home. This is when he ran away from Mrs. Andrew, which I don't think we were ever on stage at the same time, but I laughed about this when you asked me to talk about, because Christy is so much taller than I am. I was like, you know, it's right there. Exactly. It stands to reason that George would be afraid of his nanny. I mean, it was great. But then he has that scene with you,
Yeah.
George and Bert in the parlor, and that is, to me, that was really where he hits that completion of his arc, because you tell him, childhood's going to slip through their hands, and then they're up and grown, and it's too late for you to give the spoonful of sugar. Like, there's nothing wrong with the discipline, there's nothing wrong with the work, but just like the medicine, it has to be given with a spoonful of sugar. And I think that scene with Bert is really special, because the kindness of Bert, and also just being honest with George, it was just great, and it propelled his character to to that finish.
The honesty that you had, I completely agree that the honesty that you portrayed in that character was literally beautiful. I love what Cynthia wrote, that Brandon made me tear up every night. It's true, because until you told me that, I kind of forgot that Bert was like, hey, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to be gone. And that was kind of like a little light bulb for you, or for Mr. Banks in that scene. But that was one of my favorite moments of the show, was getting to do that scene with you, Brandon, because I felt like it was a good acting scene. Like, it was like
right, it really is.
Like, it felt like I was like, I now know what it's like to have a good tennis partner. Like, oh, this is what it's like, it was fun, like, getting to act off
right,
and just and it would change slightly every night because of what we were feeling in that moment, which was so fun.
Well, and that was the thing too, and I think also you and I have that relationship, that friendship, that makes that feel really easy. Even though it's kind of funny, like the end when he says, "Oh, and Bert, you too," because that was for me the place where he really was done, because at first the kids didn't want to shake Bert's hand, and he was filthy. Well, they didn't come up with that on their own. Their dad had to teach them that.
Right. Exactly.
So, just that, I think that was a little nuanced, nice piece there with that scene with Bert, because Bert knows what matters. He may be poor, he may make his ends meet, and that's how he gets by, but Bert knows what matters. So
agreed. Melissa Hartman, Noah's mom, said Noah is still afraid of Christy. The towering tall Christy. I love it. We'll get comments from Christy and Noah soon on that comment. I love it.
It's fantastic.
There were scenes, I know, for you guys as well, because Bethany, you and I were never in the same scene together, like, ever. So, like, we were like, hey, break a leg, and then we was like, see you on the other side. Yeah. And there were scenes I was changing. I never was in the bank. I never saw any of the bank scenes. I had no clue. And so I looked at photos. I was like, I totally forgot about the bank scenes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But I will say, I think we all can agree, Bethany, you not only had the best costumes, you had the best hair of the show. Like, if it was high school and we all had to vote for who was best of, this coat, I love
that coat. I could have kept that coat. Put it in my. I look so sad there.
Because
I'm sorry, I got better.
I was sad there too.
This is my favorite picture, Bethany. You need to have this framed somewhere in your home.
Oh, that was such a fun.
I love that.
That was a fun moment.
Yeah.
I was always stressed out about that shawl, though. It was gonna fall off.
And Bethany, you fell, correct? Is that right? You fell up the stairs.
Did.
You fell up or down?
I had to go up and down the stairs a bunch of times, running and up and down them. And I had a knee injury right before I was cast in the show, so I had to wear a knee brace.
From football?
And I fell down, and everybody on the stage, there was a moment of like, are you okay? And it was like I was singing, I think, even during my fall. Just had to pick myself back up. I maybe kind of leaned on the couch a little bit, singing the song. But
like, oh, Mrs. Banks had one too many earlier in the afternoon.
Yes. But
I was remembering a prop for you that every night we didn't know how that vase was going to break. Sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
I was looking at photos and when you took the vase off of the thing, but then Jenny's reaction in this one was just perfect.
And okay, so funny story about this scene right here. When the vase falls, he's supposed to Alan was basically like, I just want it to be like you are about to pop, but it can't. You're so mad you can't be mad. I couldn't. And so in that scene on stage, because it's hot and I'm moving around, I have that necktie. I thankfully had 0 costume changes this show, which
Lucky.
was so awesome. I think I changed not an overcoat, but like a trench to go
Wow.
out. I had
I didn't know
one
that.
costume the whole show.
So jealous. So jealous.
It was so nice. But I have that tied on my neck, and I go to, and I bend down to pick these up, and when I stood up, I almost passed out. Like I got really lightheaded on stage, and I was like, "This is how it's going to go down. This is going to be my story of infamy as ALT is passing out."
Mrs. Banks, Mr. Banks needs CPR. Help him, please.
But you know, you would have been the one to have to, cover that. Sorry, birds.
We have to get Ty in. We have to get the Ty in to come and pick him up.
Yeah, I would have probably been like, "Oh, let me tap dance on you, son."
Right, but you were right. You never knew if or when or how it was going to break.
Those pieces would go under the couch sometimes. I would remember I had to pick them up and put them in the trash can, and I was like, "Where are all these pieces? I cannot find them all."
It was a little nerve-wracking every night with that vase, and then like you said, trying to pick them up to make sure they're all kind of because we're having to clear that set out and bring something else in because it moved and there were big moves too.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, this house, all the things coming in and out. Funny story. When you were talking about this scene, Brandon, like the scene that you and I had when at that moment, I'll never forget. There was one time, and I learned my lesson. There was one time where I did not preset my regular shoes stage left, and because the scene right after this or before this was step-in time, and then I had to like sing a little thing and go off stage and then come back on, and I forgot to set and I did not have time to change my shoes, and so I did the whole scene in my tap shoes, and I'm like barely like walking this ever so carefully. I was like,
See, and
going around.
My character never got to be in any dance numbers.
That's right, Bethany.
Except for our waltz at the end, Brandon, where it was so funny at the very end. We were trying to be really on beat, and we were mouthing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because we had to have we had to time it with Mary flying and. So, but I never got to
something with that waltz, the way it moved that I just couldn't get.
Oh.
But I love to dance, and I love to tap dance, and so I remember being so jealous. I would be in the wings every night watching Step in Time. I remember, I think I even asked Sean at the very beginning because I wasn't really sure how the flow of the show was going to be.
Yeah.
I remember asking him like, "Come on, you can just give me a quick costume change and I can put a little black hat on and no one will know. Put me in the back."
They're like, "Why is Mrs. Banks earning extra money by chimney sweep?"
Of course, I was on either side of that number, so I couldn't do it. But that was such an incredible number. It was so fun to be able to be.
It was so fun to watch off stage.
It was amazing. Great number.
I love it. P.S. Jenny Morgan says, that scene, stressful. Talking about the bass scene.
I know, because she was there when it was supposed to be dropped and fall. Like it was just. Let's talk about. You know what? One of the dialects? Speaking of dialect, was Jenny's. Was so hysterical. I loved it.
In that callback, from callbacks to opening night, it was the same. It was awesome. She just like brought it day one.
And it was just that snippy maid. Like, and she's like, I'm sick of doing this. I'm sick. And she did just let you have it. It was so great. She was fantastic in that.
Reminded me of Miss Patma in Downton Abbey.
And in between all the numbers, she was watching Texas Tech basketball.
Right.
So Jenny Morgan. We're just tell all your secrets, Miss Jenny Morgan. I love it. Oh, she says, "Love me some British comedy." I love it. Courtney says, "I faked my way through that tap number. The next year I took tap class with Beth." We love your honesty, Courtney. Love your honesty.
You're awesome.
I love it. Okay, so before I let you guys go, before I bring in the kids, I want to show we had a great promotional video that was done by Gunnar Wadowski. It was the year that we got all these great videos done by him, and I wanted to show that real quick. For anyone who missed the show, you can kind of see the dynamic of the show and what level we had it at as. And I want to say this was maybe one of my favorite promotional videos that we did for ALT. I just thought it was spot on. So enjoy our Mary Poppins promotional video. Ah, so fun, so fun.
I love how it like times out, how he went and timed it all out where it matched up. So brilliant.
Brilliant. Perfection. He's moving to Austin. It makes me so sad. I'm gonna be like, gonna fly home to Amarillo every now and then and help us with some promo videos because his work is fantastic. But like, if that didn't make you want to come see our show, I don't know what would have, because it was just that color, the singing, the dancing, the act, all it was the magic, the flying, the whole 9 yards. I just I loved it.
There was nothing else we could do. I mean, to get them in there.
Agreed.
But I don't know, and I don't know, Bethany, do you remember the woman who brought her granddaughter up to us?
Yes.
At a Magic Circle, and it was her first live theater show, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And she was she adopted? Is that the story?
I do remember that. I'm not sure.
There was a story about her being adopted, and just the grandmother, like how much that story of the family coming. There's a story there. I cannot remember now, and I wish I had the words, but just how she said, I want to thank you two for showing, basically how these broken families don't have to stay broken. I think that was the gist of it. And it was so great. We got our pictures taken with her.
Yes. Well,
it was
at the end of the show, when we were with the kids and we're waving, there were tears all over the audience.
Yeah. Speaking of the kids, let's bring in Miss Taylor Henderson and Noah Hartman, your children, the Banks children. Let's bring them in, shall we? There's Taylor and Noah. Oh, Noah got some lighting effects there.
We've grown, our children, George.
Adorable. Well, that's debatable. Hi, guys.
Hey, Taylor, how are y'all?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Taylor and Brandon, you look like you guys could be in the same room. That wall color is spot on.
It is.
Are we?
We're sitting next to each other.
Right?
If I could reach out like this and someone's hand came into her shot, that would be
great. I love it. So Taylor, Noah, first off, let's ask, how did you guys fall in love with Mary Poppins? Did you guys know the movie? Did you read books? Did you know the musical? Were you like, I've never heard of it, and I auditioned for the show at the theater?
I've watched the movie like twice in my life.
Yeah.
One of them was after I auditioned, and one of them was a few years before.
Sure. What about you, Taylor?
I knew the story. I'd seen the movie like once or twice. But when I auditioned for it, I because like I never really heard the songs and stuff, and so I really was just like, wow, this would be such a cool show to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And you guys are both in Amarillo, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Right. I love it. How was it with you guys with the whole family dynamic? Brandon, was this your first time to play? No, it wasn't your first time to play Dad, was it? No. Because was Full Monty before this? Full Monty was before this, right? Or was Full Monty after? I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, what year was this show?
This was fall of 2017.
Okay, so after. So I had done Full Monty before.
Okay. Because was that the first time you played a Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
could've been
That was the step into the dad category.
I know that category well. Bethany, what about you? Was this your first time?
I think it was. I think it's my first mom role. Young mom. She's got young kids. You know, they're little.
Right? I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it.
Young mother.
Just the dynamic. I love this photo of Taylor with you. Just, oh, isn't that so cute? Such a good moment. And Noah's like, eh.
Because he finally tells her who Neelius' father was.
Yes.
Right?
He finished the story then. Yeah.
Yeah, and she kisses him, and that's one of those moments where, he doesn't know. He's just like,
Totally. Yeah. Like, how do I do
go
this?
to bed.
But I just love
and the kids.
whole moment.
The kids were great in the show because it was so funny because they were bratty when they needed to be bratty, but they knew their characters well enough that you knew why they were bratty.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree.
No?
Yes. I love this photo too. Like the whole family
I
together.
love it.
Wow.
That could have been an intermission.
Yeah. So
Yes.
cute. So cute. I love all the backstage photos. Noah, this was your first show with ALT, right? You guys had just moved. Your sister had been in the show, but this was your first show with us. And then Taylor, this was your first main stage show, right?
Yes, it was.
So crazy to think how far you guys now have gone and all the things that you've done. We're talking about this photo real quick. Noah, can you talk about the time that you broke the couch? Whenever I asked you about it, you were like, "Yep, I broke the couch," and Brandon gave me a death stare. What happened in that moment, Noah?
I was on stage and very nervous, so I was like rubbing my hand against the back of the couch, and I pushed on it, and it just snapped off, and it made a really loud noise. And I looked over, and Brandon was just staring at me.
I remember.
Perhaps because we had told you not to play with that part of the couch.
I also remember possibly an almost late entrance where the lights were about to come up. And I think Noah ninja rolled, like ran onto the stage and ninja rolled over the back of the couch onto the couch.
Lights up and he's ready to go. Like, what? That's not how you enter a scene, Bethany? What?
It was life imitating art.
Yeah,
really, because Bethany and Kristen took care of the kids backstage.
Yes, so true. So true. I love it.
There were some amazing ensemble though that they, those kids and that ensemble and these kids were such a unit. Some awesome kids in that ensemble, and it was one of my first times to ever get to be in a show with Academy kids. Most of the shows I had done before were just adults in the show, and so that was so exciting. I got to meet and get to know so many of your students, and that was such a precious memory. It was so much fun.
And so there were so many new people too. Sarah Hogan was new.
Yes, Sarah.
And I was kind of new to the theater, or at least as far as acting was with us. And so I love that element too of all the new adults too getting to know what we do at ALT. Because I have the four of you on real quick, Kristen, I'm gonna bring you on real quick to talk about this story, and then I was like, hey, do you guys all remember how at the very end of Anything Can Happen, everyone thought it was the end of the show?
Every time.
Yes, every time.
We had this number, and we're like, yes, it can happen.
I totally forgot about that number.
Me too.
Standing ovations, and you're like,
they're like, yes, and then the lights would come back up, and I'm like painting a picture, like, guys, it's not over yet. I gotta hand off some flowers to Mary Poppins, and
I still have to leave. Just hang tight. It's gonna be 20 more minutes. Just sit down.
No, they're like, anything can happen, and we gotta go potty, so we gotta wrap up.
We needed the OxyClean. Now he's the Mighty Putty guy. But wait, there's more.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Just hold on. Oh, I love it. Okay, so Bethany and Brandon, we're gonna bring you back in a little bit. We're gonna send you backstage real quick as we talk to the kiddos and Miss Mary Poppins. Let me push my buttons. There we go. All right. Ooh, it's like 4 squares. I like it. Oh wait, I have a comment. Let me see this comment. Oh, Tana's watching our amazing set designer. She said love, and then yep, she reminded us. Yep, Full Money was before. I love it. I love it. So we let me pull this up. Okay. Obviously, they talked about the end of the show, which was just a magical moment of you leaving at the end of the show, which I just thought, which is like one. I had this great the kite scene, of course, but wait, I hit the wrong button. There's the kite. I was looking for the kite. With the fans, and then Kristen with you flying away at the end of the show. I thought that was just a beautiful, magical moment. I loved it.
That was such a sweet. It was such a sweet scene. Everything about it. I loved the song that Mary Poppins gets to sing. That's just a little bit of a reprise of "Spoonful of Sugar" with the words about her job being done. But then the family unit is so precious and sweet. It can't help but make your heart feel so happy and full when the show ends, because everything is set to right and everything is as it should be. And it's just a lovely, lovely moment.
Completely agreed. Completely agreed. That moment, it's such a beautiful, beautiful song. Taylor, no, you guys were in almost every scene. Like, there was just little moments of this. I mean, you were in the show so much, just going on and off, changing the costume, coming back on. You guys were such good professionals. Of course, people that were taller than you, helping you along the way, pushing you and helping changing you. I remember, Taylor, you said that you felt so cool because it was the first time that you could be in the dressing room.
Yeah, so excited. But then I realized, oh wait,
you were hardly in, well, but also you were hardly in the dressing room because you were on stage most of the show.
Yeah.
So I was hardly in there. It was only during intermission where I went in there and I got my gummy bears and I came back out on stage and me and Callie Kilburn sat on the couch just waiting.
I love it. I love it. And this is basically where the love and the friendship grew with you and Callie Kilburn.
Oh, that photo, every time I look at it, my mouth looks like a cat almost.
Oh yeah.
So every time I look at that photo, I like cringe.
I love it. I love it. Like we were talking about with Jenny Morgan and Cy Scroggins also played y'all's help, if you will, in that show, which you guys, I mean, they were hilarious. Taylor, let's talk about the time. I love that you had the story about Alan in the nursery. When you guys were rehearsing, you guys didn't have the nursery set yet, right?
Yeah, so when we did come to the nursery and like everything was being built, we used these 2 skinny brown benches and like this trunk, I don't know, for what Alan called our nursery on the cheap. So I remember that, and every time I think about it, I laugh.
Nursery on the cheap. We're a nonprofit here at ALT.
Yeah, it was real sweet. It was so sweet because every night they had to like pretend to go to bed and be asleep, and they're on these benches. They're like this wide, and so they're like curled up on their side. And I'm sorry, guys, we're gonna run that scene again.
Oh, sorry, we don't have any cushioning or pillows for you whatsoever. But yeah. Taylor and Noah, I also want to talk. I had some great scenes with you, and I know we talked about this earlier in the week when I was talking about the show. But on opening night, we are out there in Act 2. We have the kite. I hook the kite. We're about to sing "Let's Go Fly a Kite." The kite's about to go up in the air, like we're all ready for it. And the string of the kite breaks. I don't know if you guys remember that. And I remember thinking, oh my God, the kite. We're about to sing about how the kite is going to fly in the air, and it's not going to. And I remember, Taylor, I made eye contact with you, and it was like, I'm saying my line a little bit different so that way you can understand what's going on. And you were like, I got you, Mr. Jason. And we had like a little improv-y kind of moment until Mr. Jason could retie a new string and then let go. And then it flew, thank goodness. But there was a definite moment where we were like,
is it going to do it?
You got me, girl? Okay, yeah.
Because I have a memory that you held it up there.
Well, I held it for the I held it for the beginning of the song. When it should be going up, I was like, let's go fly a kite and send it. Sorry. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do some hand kite choreography until I could get the string and retie it. And then it went off. Because, Kristen, it had to go off for you to bring it back in. And I was like, I am not going to paper airplane this kite up into the ceiling for you. And then finally, though, it went off into the air, which I thought was really fun.
So did you look?
Right. Yes. Yes. I was like, man, they got me in mid jump on that picture, which was a lot of fun. But yeah. So I always love that. And then Taylor, no, you guys talked about how it was really hard for you guys to keep a straight face in the toy scene, right?
Yeah.
All of the older Academy kids were just like going crazy around you. Plus the awesome Beth Alexander with her awesome monkey butt. But talk about that scene.
That scene, it was my favorite dance number. Even though I didn't even dance, I just thought it was really fun to be on stage with all my friends. And when we got lifted, which was like felt so famous almost. I don't know.
I've made it, Mama. I've been lifted in a show.
But yeah, Noah.
I love it.
It was also my favorite dance number. We didn't get to dance, but it was just a lot of fun being there.
Yeah. It was a cool number. It was such a cool number. It was a creepy number, but it was cool.
Yeah. Even though like we both knew like the magic that went on with them, coming out of the trunk and stuff, it was so cool every night to just see that happen, and it just shows like the magic of the theater, and it's so
magic of the theater. The magic of the theater. It's so true. It's so true. You guys also had tons of different props. You guys we're going to talk to Shannon in a little bit about the supercalifragilistic scene. But in that scene, you guys had prop boxes with letters that you had to pull out. And I remember everyone was like, do not touch these. Like they had tape on them, do not touch, had your names on them so we knew exactly what you guys had to do, what letters you had to pull out. And there was a number system, is that right?
Yeah, there was numbers on the back, and they were turned over face down, and there were numbers on the back, and we held them up and said the letter and placed it down so we knew what came in order. And I'm so proud because I don't think I ever got them out of order. Yeah.
Toss. Just FYI. You're gonna be a Glinda in like 2030. 2030 Glinda Taylor Henderson. What about Noah? What do you remember about those props?
I almost got it wrong so many times. I kept mixing up the letters.
Shannon's like, yep, yes, he almost did. Sorry, I can see Shannon backstage. She's like, I had to save him many a time. I love you, Shannon, so much. But yeah, but we all had your back, Noah. We had your back. We were there for you. We were there. Oh, I love it. Taylor, also, can you talk about, we all know and love Ryan Festeda and how amazing he can be as an ensemble member. And he always, all the cast did a really good job about ad-libs, like making sure our ad-libs worked out. Taylor, can you talk about the great ad-lib that Ryan had in Supercalifragilistic?
Yeah, so when we're pulling out the letters, right after that, Kristen is saying things.
Lexicon.
Yeah, but I don't know what she's talking about. So she says lexicons.
Or lexicon, yeah.
Festeda every single night. Never failed to make me laugh. He says, did she say Mexicans?
I feel like all of us just made our own ad libs, and then we were like, "Oh, now we have to sing." So sorry, we have not been paying attention. Like, it was so fun. Yes, and then all the letters, the choreography. It was so fun. So Taylor and Noah, I asked if you guys could sing your song because you guys are in two different places. It's going to be really difficult, but you guys are going to be pros. So you guys are going to sing the letter song that you guys sing in the show, but you're going to sing it a cappella and just kind of bounce back and forth for us, right? So this is the song where you guys basically make the advertisement or the advertisement for what nanny you want, the perfect nanny that you want. Look at those faces. Those faces are just perfection right there. We've seen those faces many a time off stage and on. But if you guys don't mind singing the perfect nanny for us, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, take it away. I'm going to go backstage. Ooh.
Let's see how this goes. Okay. If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts.
Play games, all sorts.
You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly pretty. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Sing songs, bring sweets. Never be cross or cruel. Never give us castor oil or gruel.
Love us as a son and daughter.
And never smell of boiling water.
If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us.
We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see. Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea. Hurry, Nanny. Many thanks.
Sincerely, Jane.
And Michael, thanks.
Yay! Adorable. I love it. I love it. So fun. So fun. You guys are so cute. So good. So good. Because I have the three of you guys on real quick, I'm gonna switch gears real quick. Let's talk about a moment that I got to share this with you guys as well as with so many cast members. Let's talk about Step in Time, because Sean Walsh outdid himself with that number. I think Sean was like, I'm gonna throw in everything I can into that number, and just, man, it was a huge tap number. But I love that we got to start off the number on the rooftop, which I thought was just a great moment for all the four of us.
Yeah. Wow, I love that picture. It looks so cool.
I loved it.
Yes, Taylor, look at your face. Taylor, your face is like,
And almost every single scene, I was like,
This is Taylor's face and Mr. Jason. A little pitchy, Mr. Jason. Look at that. It's like, sunny side up. Sunny side of the note there, Mr. Jason. But that number for me, I just absolutely love that number. I talked about this earlier in the week. I was lucky where I got to be out in the front, kind of look at all the chimney sweeps as the music started, and I kind of checked in with every chimney sweep. And I was talking to somebody about that this week, and I was like, you know what? I think that's the one and only time I will ever have felt like a quarterback of a football team. Like, we're about to huddle. Let me look at you guys all. We're ready to do this. All right, here we go. Like, granted, I don't know if that's how it feels like to be a quarterback of a football team when you're about to tap dance and fly in the air, but that was just such a fun moment. And everyone, the whole cast, Connie Kennedy there, Jordan McCormick, Caden Burns. I mean, all of the tappers that we had, Abigail Martin, Cheyenne. It was just, they were amazing dancers for sure. It was such a fun number.
yeah. Oh my God.
And kids, you guys were a little bit nervous about this tap number, weren't you?
Yeah. During rehearsal, we were like scrambling to learn the steps. But like when we finally had like a little break, Kristen, we went in the other studio and she taught us the step like so quickly, and we got it, and it turned out to be pretty easy, but Kristen taught us how to do it. So that's cool. But we also like got to sit in the back the whole time. So
They were pros. It was nothing. I mean, we just went and just had a little practice moment, and it just clicked, and it worked, and it was so cool to be a part of that number.
Mary said it was her favorite number. Jennifer said, so glad you're watching, Jennifer. The orchestration for Step in Time was incredible. One of my all-time favorites. Agreed, Jennifer. Yeah. That music coming out of that pit would just give us so much energy for sure. Mm-hmm. Debbie Perry says, love y'all. We love you too, Miss Debbie Perry. Love you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, also, and Shannon, I'm going to have you talk about this when we bring you on as well. Shannon wanted to remind us that Noah fell asleep almost every night in rehearsal.
Oh, my God.
We may have footage of that coming up later in the broadcast. But yeah, and Taylor, you remember it. I even forgot this, how we had a standing ovation after Step in Time, I think after opening night, which was just exhilarating to know that all our hard work paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story, actually, which is, so after when we had a standing ovation, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. When the unit, like the rooftop, started to go off stage, I didn't know that it was not a complete blackout. And so I went like this, like a giant dab.
You dabbed on stage?
Mm-hmm, on stage. And so I went off stage and I was like, they can't see me, right? And my mom was like, no, yeah, they can see you. I was like, okay, well, I just dabbed.
I love it. The true confession, Taylor Paige Henderson. Abigail said that there was such an adrenaline rush before that number. It was my favorite part of the show. Agreed. Courtney says it was so fun to be part of Step Time. Best is my favorite number for sure. Agreed. Fun fact: Ethan Worsham basically saved my life at one point. It was such a quick change of the houses, and the house was in a position, and then they would kind of move a little bit, getting ready for me to fly. And I remember going off stage, and we were all dancing, and I would run off stage, and I had to take off my jacket and get clipped in to my harness. And I remember Ethan Worsham was one of our crew members. He was behind the house, and he looked at me, and he was like waving his arms, and he was pointing at the house, basically saying, "Is this in the right position? Because I don't think it is." And it wasn't. It was completely off, to where I would not have had a landing spot when I flew. And I was like, "It is not in the right spot. Move it down." As then I'm walking on stage, and so as I'm flying in the air, flipping, as I'm going upside down, I'm looking at the house moving ever so slowly into the position for me to land on. I was like, "Oh Lord!" But it was fine. Nobody knew.
Thank God he noticed.
Yeah, he was like, "This doesn't look right. Maybe I should ask a question." And I was like, "Thank you so much, Ethan Worsham, for saving my life." But yeah. I love it. Well, definitely, I would say Step in Time would be in my top 3 moments for sure on ALT stage. It was absolutely just one of the funnest, most fun numbers for sure. That number. Okay, Bethany, I'm gonna bring you back real quick. For you guys, I saw a video of another theater doing something similar with the characters that you guys were in the show, and I thought, let's do that for ALT. And you guys were so generous on a Saturday afternoon when we all should probably have been resting. We got in costumes. We went over to Bethany's house, and we did a quick little video, and I want to show you that video real quick. I got to scroll down. We got a lot of pictures. Okay, here we go. Let's go fly a kite up to the... Oh, look who it is. What? Mary Poppins.
Hello, Bert.
Oh, I must say you do look swell.
Thank you. So you're a lift driver now, are you?
It's the best way to view Amarillo, huh? And who gets to see it? The semis, the pickup trucks, and the lift drivers.
Very true.
So where to, Mary Poppins?
To the Amarillo Little Theatre, please.
All right. When this whole world starts getting me down, and people are just too much for me to face, I climb way up to the top of the stairs, and all my cares just drift right into space. On the roof it's peaceful as can be, and there the world below can't bother me.
Well, that was dainty, Bert.
Oh, shucks.
What was that called, what we were just doing?
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh, I know. Karaoke.
That's not a word.
Of course it's a word. And unless I'm very much mistaken, I have the perfect song. When the sun shines, we'll shine together. Told you I'd be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. An oath I must stick it out till the end.
Right. What?
Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we'll still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella,
Men Poppins in the house. What?
Ella, Ella,
Actually perfect. What?
under my umbrella. Ella, Ella,
Men Poppins in the house. What?
Ella, Ella,
Oh, what? Look who it is. Oh, we should pick him up, shan't we?
Oh, let's.
Hello. Hello there. Hello, Jane.
Hello, Bert.
Mrs. Banks.
Hello, Bert.
Hello, Michael.
Bert, what are you doing in the lift car?
What? Well, I'm a lift driver. What better way to see Amarillo, huh? Now, where to?
The Amarillo Little Theatre.
Oh, all right.
Perfect. Seatbelt on, please. And I have a perfect game for us to play on our way. It's called Carpool.
Ooh, carpool.
What's a carpool?
Oh, I know what a carpool is. Back in the day when I was an actress, Clemmy Bunting and I joined the circus. And there were these little tiny cars that drove into the center of the ring.
That's
little
not
bounds.
a carpool.
Oh.
Did Daddy agree? Daddy wouldn't let us get in a car with a dirty lift driver that's only 3 stars.
Oh, tip, tip, tip. Now that's all, you two. Now I have a perfect word for us. RESPECT. Ooh, what you want, baby, I got it. What you need, do you know I got it? All I'm asking is for a little respect, just a little bit. Come home, just a little bit. Hey, baby, just a little bit. When you get home, just a little bit. RESPECT, find out what it means to me. RESPECT, take care to see me. Suck it to me, 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 suck it to me. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit.
All right, here we are.
Perfect. And I need not say that this lift was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always have it closest. Supercalifragilistic.
Supercalifragilistic.
Yay! Supercalifragilistic a lot in promoting this show.
So funny.
That was such a fun video to film.
So
I
fun.
remember Noah didn't he have to sit on a pillow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which then, fun fact, I had that pillow for the next year. I was like, Bethany, I have your pillow, and I just kept forgetting to give it back to her. And so, poor Bethany, I had that.
See, now he's so big he wouldn't have to sit on a pillow anymore.
Noah would be driving now, which is just hilarious. That was fantastic. Maybe I remember watching this all the time after the show. That is great. You guys rock. So fun. Yeah. You guys were such troopers for doing that. I appreciate you guys so much. It was so fun. Okay, we're going to say bye to you guys real quick, and we're going to then bring in our next actresses. So I'm going to go here as I take them out. All right. So we had, like we were talking about, we had an amazing cast for this whole show. We had some great talent all across the board. We had 3 amazing ladies that were featured in the show. We would love to bring them on now. So we're going to bring in, of course, our fantastic Christy Corder, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious amazing Shannon Mashburn, and the girl who loves all the birds. Let's get in Miss Jerry Tidmore. Hello, ladies. You guys have been so patient backstage waiting. You guys are awesome. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
You guys look gorgeous, fantastic. I love it. Okay, I want to find out from you guys. Let's start with Christy, then we'll go to Shannon and Jerry. How did you guys fall in love with Mary Poppins? Did you know the movie, the books? What was your trail to Mary Poppins?
You know, I've been thinking about this the whole time, and I don't know. I mean, I've watched the movie several times, billions of times with my kids and stuff, but I don't know. I don't remember the first time I saw it, how old I was. I want to say I was in college, though.
Yeah. You were later in life. You figured out.
Because my parents were not musical people.
Sure.
So I didn't watch all these musicals and stuff growing up.
What about you, Shannon?
I don't really remember. I think probably like they used to do the Wonderful World of Disney on Sundays, and we always watched it. My mother, I grew up in a musical household. We listened to musicals all the time, and she always made sure that I watched musicals. And so I'm sure that she probably sat me down and made me watch it, because Julie Andrews was a staple in our house.
Oh, for sure.
Like Brandon, I had no idea that they were books until much later in life.
Yeah. I love that. What about you, Miss Jerry?
How old were you when you found out that they were books? Today years old. I was today years old. I didn't know they were books until today when you asked people. So apparently I live under a rock. So
We're all dying
that's
laughing. Everyone's laughing backstage. I love you so much, your honesty.
I liked the movie when I was a kid. I don't know. I mean, I watched it. Julie Andrews. I had Mary Poppins and Sound of Music like on VHS, you know, and you had to rewind, and especially Mary Poppins had 2 VHSs, and you had to rewind, and it took 30 minutes.
Yes.
So I just watched them like on a loop, back to back, and because Julie Andrews is the best.
Did you guys have the car rewind? Like you would put the VHS in the car and push it down
Sure
there
did.
for you?
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, so fun. Okay, so also let's talk. So Christy, who did you play in the show?
I was Miss Andrew.
Miss Andrew. Look at that. Miss Andrew was the opposite of Mary Poppins, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then Shannon, you played?
I was Mrs. Corey, the magic shop lady.
And your shop in the park. I was in Central Park. I was like, wait, it's not New York, but you're.
But in the movie, Mrs. Corey is actually in the movie, and she appears once in the park with her twin daughters, and with Bert, and that's the only time that you see her in the movie. And so, you know, finding out, I mean, I really do think that it was like when I got cast in the musical. When my daughter got cast in the musical, I was like, who is Mrs. Corey? And I had to
right.
I think that's when I kind of figured out that there were books.
Right. The books. And then Jerry, who are you?
I was the bird woman.
The bird woman. There you are. I love it. Oh, all 3 of you guys had shining moments in this show. You guys were so strong. Okay, so let's first talk to, or I'm gonna say Shannon. Let's talk about how Regan played this role. How you you basically knew this role because of Regan playing it in the Summer Youth Musical. And so wasn't that something that you were like, I would love to play the same role as my daughter?
Oh, absolutely. My oldest daughter, Regan, grew up at ALT. She did shows, and then she got cast as Mrs. Corey in the Summer Youth Musical production of Mary Poppins. And I was so excited that she got that part once I figured out what the part was, and loved watching her every single night. And I was like, oh, that would be so much fun. And then ALT announced that they were doing it, and I remember talking to you and saying, and a lot of my friends saying, oh my gosh, I've got to play Mrs. Corey, because I wanted to have that connection with Regan.
Oh, I totally remember that. It was like, you have to audition.
Me too.
You have to audition.
I think you were the first one to text me after the cast list came out. I don't think I had even seen the cast list. You were like, oh my gosh, you got what you wanted.
It was you know how it is with all of us when people audition. It was like one of those things where it was like, I hope this happens. Like that way, all will be right in the world if Shannon gets to play the same role that Regan played. It was magical.
And in the show, I had that crazy hat on my head, but I also had ribbons in my hair, and you can kind of see it, the ribbons on my gloves. All of the rainbow ribbons that I had in my hair and on my gloves were Regan's that she wore in her production. And so
that's fun.
Cool. I told her, I said, I'm going to wear your ribbons in honor of you. And so I wore them in my hair and on my gloves every night for my Regan.
I love that. Brian says, I love sharing the stage with Shannon. We miss you, Brian. Too. We love you too. P.S. Mabry says, I'm with Jerry. I didn't know they were books. We educate here on Alternative Places. We not only entertain, we educate.
I promise I read.
Right?
I read. Just
this
not that, I guess.
Mashburn said, who? The constant comedian. I love it. Christy, let's talk about your role. If I'm correct, I Facebook messaged you once. I was like doing my research on the show, and I heard this singer, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that there's this lady, and she sings crazy stuff. And I was like, who's gonna Christy Corder, are you auditioning? You should audition for this role, because it was like I just could hear you singing this in the show.
Well, and I was in the Philippines when I got that message.
I forgot you were in the Philippines.
Yeah, I was in the Philippines, and so I didn't message you back until like 2 days later. I was like, I'm sorry but we didn't have Wi-Fi where we were, and I can't get on my phone until I was somewhere with Wi-Fi. And so we were literally on the other side of the world. The time changes like 13 hours. We were like 13. And so then we were messaging, and I was like, okay, so then what do okay, hold on. I'll download it whenever I get to some Wi-Fi, some better Wi-Fi that's get you here. So I downloaded, listening to it, and we were listening to it on the plane. Dula and I were listening to it on the way back from the Philippines, and I was like, hey, listen to this piece, and this is what Jason thinks I should audition for this part. And so he was like, okay, sounds fun. I mean, because
it was just your vocals in the show was like a Olympic, like who does those things that you guys do? You opera amazing trained people. I'm like, oh.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun because it's about a 2-octave range, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I believe it was like the bass note on the very last piano key, the top of all 88 notes.
Not quite that.
It was crazy.
For sure. It was amazing. So good. Mm-hmm. And then Jerry, of course, as you were the Bird Woman, and the Bird Woman wasn't really on your radar, right? You were like, listen, if you're thinking I'm the Bird Woman, like, hello, I need to get in some moisture or something, right? You were like, that wasn't on your radar whatsoever.
No. I didn't even, I mean, the Bird Woman's an old homeless lady. I mean, I hope I don't look old.
Not at all. But your talent exude for that song. Oh, that song was just gorgeous, for sure.
Well, it was a really good. It was a great role. It's something that I'll remember forever. I mean, it wasn't on my radar, but sometimes those roles are the best.
Oh,
when you don't see them coming, you don't expect them, but obviously whoever's casting the show sees something in you that you have no idea is there. So
Justin said, "Be the Birds made me cry." I love it. Oh, and he also said, "You do not look homeless."
Good. Thank you.
I love it. Fun fact, which Christy and Shannon, I know you'll remember this. Obviously, Jerry, you do. When the cast list went up, there was no Bird Woman.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Jerry was cast as a Bird Woman, but it was left off of the cast list. And poor Jerry, you did not. You were in the show.
No, I was like, oh, okay, well, next time maybe. I don't know.
Who's the Bird Woman?
Yeah, Jerry sent all of us messages congratulating us, and even though she wasn't on the cast list. And I mean, I just thought that was so amazing, and what a view of sportsmanship.
Yeah.
That she wasn't on there, and then all of a sudden everybody realized, wait a minute, who's playing the Bird Woman?
I remember I posted on Facebook because I was like, I had said on Facebook I auditioned for the show, and so I said on Facebook, well, I didn't get cast, but some of my friends did. It's going to be a great show. And Jen Akins commented on my post and said, what are you talking about? You were cast. And so I was like, what? And I went to the cast list because I thought, am I blind? Like, I'm homeless and I'm blind? I don't know. And so I went to the cast list and was scanning through it thinking I can't see. And no, I wasn't there. And I commented and I was like, I'm not on there. And Alan emailed me and was like, so apologetic.
Bert says, nope, it doesn't say me. I wanted Bert.
Bert was my first choice. Yeah. Didn't get Bert.
But then Alan was so apologetic. He felt so bad that
he felt awful.
Left off the cast.
He felt awful. Yeah.
I love it. Oh,
I was in the show. I got in the show. It's fine.
Hugh Frister said, I'll be honest, I loved absolutely every performance in the show, but Jerry's song for the Birds was so incredible. I loved it. Oh, that's so awesome.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Also, you, Shannon, have a family of comedians. I don't know if you know this. But your other daughter said, hey, I know the lady in the pink. I love it.
That's funny. I don't know any of those people.
You're like, I don't know. They're all out of the will.
Where did they get that?
Right, exactly. But I, all of you guys, I mean, seriously, you guys all had so much energy in your numbers and just so much fun. But then I will commend all of you because you guys all did such a great job also picking up other jobs throughout the show. I mean, literally, like Christy, you were Act 1 crew. Act 2, you played your role because your role was just in Act 2. And I just remember we talked about this when we were, if you can explain, like you would go like catch a drop and then you would go do something.
Yeah, I had my list of all the things that I would do. And so like I'd catch a drop on stage left, and then I would go to stage right and I would move something on, And then when it started getting closer to act 2, I was like, okay, it's time to put my wig on or whatever. And so, yeah, I'd go back to wig cap on, and then I'd catch a drop or move a piece of furniture or pull a curtain. And then I'd go back, I'd put my wig on, and then I'd go out and I'd move some furniture on. And then I'd come back and I'd put my lipstick on. Then I'd go back and okay, that was time to go to the bathroom. And then I put my dress on. I didn't put the dress on until the last minute though, because that skirt was wool.
Oh, that skirt.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember like passing you like backstage and you'd be like pushing something in like wig cap. And then the next time you're like full face of makeup, pushing something else. Pushing something else, and it was like your wig was finally on. I'm like, man, Christy's just awesome. Look at her.
I didn't want to sit back there for the whole first act. The first act was long.
It was a long first act. And then Jerry, I remember you basically, that was your second show with us at ALT. But you basically learned like where not to stand. Like you'd be like, oh, I can't stand here now. Okay, I'm so sorry about that.
Nope. And I was told multiple times, you can't be here. I was like, sorry.
Yeah. But then you would help with quick changes and all that stuff. And then I remember you were talking about how you would help Cheyenne take off makeup.
Yes.
Like when
Cheyenne,
they were statues.
Yes, she was a statue. Yes, and she had that gold, and it was so thick. And so she would come off and have to go back on so fast. And so I'd just be waiting with makeup wipes, and she would come in and be taking her clothes off, and I am just wiping her down with wipes. It's like furiously. It would have been just hilarious for someone to video that, because it was so stressful because she had no time, zero time.
Yeah.
And she had to put regular makeup on after she took all the gold makeup. It was crazy. It was crazy.
You guys were awesome. Shana helping with quick changes in the dressing rooms. Like you guys were there.
No, it wasn't even in the. I dressed.
True. Backstage,
Oh my gosh, I dressed Kristen for
yes, Jolly Holiday. Yes, we helped her with that.
Yeah, and those
with the shoes.
Oh my gosh! Every night I touched parts of Kristen Lloyd that I never played. Every night, her sweet sweaty feet go. Oh my god!
You're like, these feet are working because they're stinking, but they're beautiful. They're talented feet.
That's the amazing thing about Kristen Lloyd is she never
didn't stink.
Oh, they didn't stink.
Every part of her was wet. I mean,
she is laughing and celebrating that stage. Kristen Lloyd's feet smells fantastic.
I mean, that's one thing I can say. Everything else may be awful, but my feet don't stink.
They did not.
I apologize to Kim Streffler and Rebecca Hartman, who changed me, which, my feet were stinky with socks.
These two ladies, though, they took amazing care of me. And it was literally like one was zipping, one was unzipping, one was zipping, one was buttoning.
One was pulling up, one was...
Yes, and it was like, okay, get this last button. And so I had hat, gloves, dress, shirt, like skirt.
Umbrella.
Boots,
umbrella,
so that I could go out and like lift it. Oh, it was so much. They were just on it. They were so on it. And
that's so awesome about you guys, because you guys easily could have been like, no, we're only in our number and we're gonna go smoke and make margaritas or whatever. No, you guys were like, okay,
smoke. Come on.
But that's the difference that is ALT is that that's what makes ALT so great is that we all do chip in. We go in and we build, we paint, we find props. It's not an actor versus crew situation.
At all. Yeah, we've all worked crew on shows multiple times and been in shows as well. So I could not have.
I'm pretty sure that I painted most of those bricks. I painted bricks and
so much painting.
I love it.
So much.
I
painted my stairs.
Yeah. Let's talk real quick about supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That was such a huge number. All of the dancing, all of the singing that we had to do, like it was one of my favorite numbers for sure. I love this picture that you guys took backstage of the ladies spelling out the words. Love that. Love that so much with all of the letters that we had. And I went back and looked at the video. That number was fast. I did not remember how fast that number was. Like we were like trying to hit all of the dance moves.
Well, and the funny thing about it is there was one weekend, like I said, Regan had played the part, and that was the year that Regan moved to college. I think no. That was her senior year. So I was super emotional, and there was one weekend that I had to miss because I had to go down to Georgetown with Regan for like orientation.
Sure.
And it just so happened that, of course, Sean worked the letter part of Super Cal during that Saturday rehearsal when I was gone. So I came back and I was like, I am never letters. And don't tell Sean that there's one section of it that I never learned. I faked. And I was glad that Jason and Kristen and the kids were in front of me because I was like, RAPIL. And I mean, I did that every single night. I still can't do it.
I love it. I love it.
Don't you remember that? In rehearsal, it was so crazy because learning that stuff in rehearsals, the music was slowed way down. Sean slowed it way down, and then he'd speed it up, and we'd be like, "Oh, phew, we're finally at tempo." It had to be sped up like 5 more times, and we're like, "There's no way. There's absolutely no way we can."
Oh, there was definitely a
Oh
time
my God.
when in rehearsal when it was like, okay, now we're doing it as full speed as we can. That I'm pretty sure I punched myself in the face. I was like, input, like. What? It was so sad. It was so sad.
Sean, that Sunday rehearsal, or no, it was a Monday rehearsal. He like took me into the shop after I did my Katie Nana scene. In the shop, and he goes, "Okay, here's all the letters." And I was like,
I have your Katie Nana picture right there. Katie Nana.
Katie Nana. Bethany Fields and I have a story about Katie Nana that. But Sean took me into the shop and was like, "Okay, here's the letters." And Noah Hartman was standing right by, and he was like, "Shannon, you're doing it wrong. It's not like this. It's like this." And I was like, "Noah, I'm going to need you to step aside for just a second to learn this." And like I said,
He was just being helpful.
Yeah, trying so hard to help, but I was so frustrated. And I went to Sean later, and I was like, "Sean, I am never going to." Like, "Listen, Shannon, you are Miss Corey. Miss Corey is magical, and this is me, and you can do whatever the heck you want to do, and nobody's going to care." And I went,
anything can happen if you let it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, we someone else also commented about supercalifragilisticexpialidocious was amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. It was such a good number. Miss Shana, if you don't mind singing a little bit of supercalifragilistic for us tonight.
Sure.
Fantastic. Cannot wait.
When trying to express yourself, that's frankly quite absurd. To leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation clean. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddly-lum-diddly, 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 diddly-lum. When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice. Now, if they'd heard this word, they might have used it once or twice. I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear this hieroglyph. Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it, and wild animals would not seem so ferocious. Add some further flourishes, it's so rococo-cocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddly-lum-diddly, diddly-lum-diddly, diddly-lum. So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say. Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well. Then put them in an order which is very hard to spell. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Here we go! Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Woo! So good!
Yay!
So good! Oh my gosh, just hearing you sing that song again, I was like sweating. Like, oh gosh. And seeing you do the letters, I was like, oh gosh, okay.
I am not
bouncing backstage. I loved it.
I am not upset that I was not in that number. There's no way. There's no way.
So many things. So many things. Oh, Susan says, that's my girl. I taught her everything she knows. I love that, Brian.
I love it.
And yay! Oh, so good. So good. It was such a fun number. Oh, well done. Well done. I also remember in that thing, in the number, like we're doing it, boom, 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 we're all sweaty, we're done. It was like, and everyone got to leave the stage. Not me. I had this little thing, and I was like, I hid water. Like, I was like, water, boom, and I was like, and here I go into my 5th round of Chim Chim Cheree. I was like, ugh. But I remember being sweaty.
Do you remember every night when we were going to our places, we were coming off of the set to really start the number Kristen was singing, and you and I would do that high five and like the, oh, but how you do it?
Yes, like, oh, hello, hello, hello. Yes, all those little moments. I just love those little moments. So much fun. So true. So true. I love it. I love it. Okay, so you guys were masters about taking pictures backstage. You guys were rock stars.
Had time.
You're like, we have some time. And you guys were so smart. You guys were like, we have to not be in the dressing room during intermission because so many people were changing and getting ready for Act 2. Mm-hmm. And so you guys were always my little audience or would walk by or help. During intermission, I would have to get into my rigging and do a whole test, like a 10-minute test of all the flight stuff, and then go off. And so you guys were so sweet. I had a couple of photos of me getting ready, but then I love this photo that you guys took, basically me in midair, upside down. The good old days of being skinny, but the went on. And then I had to purposely try to wiggle out of it to see if I could fall on my own. I love it. And Kristen's being the watchful eye, I'm here. If you fall, I will touch you so soon. Oh. But yeah, you guys were such good troopers to be my little audience and cheer me on every night. And then and then the backstage videos that you guys took photos. I mean, look at these. Oh, I just love these photos of all of our cast. Jenny Morgan there, so cute.
I love just laying the camera there and letting people take pictures.
You were awesome.
Yeah.
And all of us just taking just so many fun photos.
I love that one.
I love
that one.
So and then this just reminds me again how amazing all these costumes were. Of course, some of our amazing our costumer. So much fun.
I look ridiculous. It's scary.
I know. Sometimes the one of the photo pops up, it's like, oh. I don't know why that's not your profile picture. I mean, that's gorgeous right there.
I know, right?
I forgot that feather was on my head, and so I was constantly hitting people in the face.
People with it.
They had to move. Ricky had to move. There was that sconce about to go upstairs. And the first night I wore the feathers, I was like, Ricky, I'm sorry, you're going to have to move that. Are you kidding me? I stood on my tiptoes and put it up there as high as I could get it. And I was like, I'm scared of the heels and the feathers. I'm so going to knock that off the wall.
Yeah. This was the photo that I love that Shannon sent me of little Noah asleep.
Many
a rehearsal with him just out.
Every night.
Passed out.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that's better than running around being in trouble. So yeah.
True, yeah. And then Jerry, I love this photo of you backstage. Times was hard. Times is hard.
I was just perpetuating the role. I was just.
No wonder she was. It was like, man, she had a problem.
I wasn't really homeless. I just had a vice.
And then
It wasn't real birds. It was you didn't see any birds because they weren't real.
Birds. She was just gone. Shannon, can you talk about the importance, the very important, like the key to the whole show that joined Anything Goes and Mary Poppins? It wasn't the common denominator of Kristen or some of the cast members. No. The common denominator was the prop dog.
The dog. Because that little stuffed animal was my dog in what was his name? It was Wembley in Mary Poppins. What was his name in Anything Goes?
Oh my goodness, what was his name?
Yeah, that was my dog in Anything Goes, and then they used him in Mary Poppins, and so every night Sarah would come across with him, and I would have to scold him and say, "Oh, you dirty dog, you ran away from me again." I had lots of little backstage scenes going
Cheeky.
on.
Wasn't it Cheeky or something like that?
Maybe Cheeky.
Maybe.
Cheeky.
Cheeky. It was Cheeky.
Oh, no, I'm gonna have to look it up now.
I love it.
Crystal says Cheeky.
I remember the dog getting thrown over the boat. You say it's like Cheeky.
Cheeky. Yes.
I love it. So I just love that the common denominator was the dog. I
still have his little tiny life preserver that was made.
Cheeky.
Yes.
Someone remembered it was Cheeky. I love it. Okay, so Christy, obviously you're nanny. You're the anti-Mary Poppins in this show. I mean, you had some moments. You guys had some sparring, if you will. Man, it was just intense. I loved y'all back and forth, just Olympic vocals back and forth. The song that you guys sang, you guys had 3 different parts of it, correct?
Yeah, there was 2 different parts for me. The first time I sing it was when it's just by myself, whenever I first come in. And then later, then I come back and it's Kristen and I together. And that was so fun because she got to magic me off and, and
Proof of Smoke.
Smoke and all that. It was fun.
I love it. I know that there's not really a good recording of it, so I asked Christy if you don't mind singing it a cappella for us, because Lord Almighty, it's going to be fantastic. We don't need no stinking music to go with it. So if you don't mind giving us a little. It's treacle and
Brimstone and treacle.
Brimstone and treacle. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. I was having too much of that homeless woman's wine. All right, take it away, Christy.
These children have been school. I've arrived here just in time. By chance, I've got the punishment that best befits the crime. Brimstone and treacle and cod liver oil, liberal doses of each. These are the things for which children recoil, lessons I'm going to teach. Just follow my model and don't mollycoddle. It may leave you irksome to irk. So seek satisfaction from punitive action. Brimstone and treacle will work. Brimstone and treacle and carbolic soap. These are the tools of my trade. With spoonfuls of sugar, you don't have a hope. The thing that changes are made. When manners are chronic, my tincture's the tonic that's certain to wipe off that smirk. So pour out the ration in matronly passion. Brimstone and treacle will work. I won't stand for whining or whinging or whimpering, crying or lying or sobbing or simpering. I feel it's clear that in these two bad habits lurk. First threaten to throttle, then uncork the bottle. Brimstone and treacle will work. Brimstone and treacle will
Woo! So good. Woo, woo, woo. So good. All the glass broke at the adventure.
Around my house, just stainless steel. That's all.
At your house, they're like, Mom's cooking dinner again.
I'm singing again. It's the only time the dog does not want to be in the room with me.
Dog's gone. Oh, so good. Like, just all of those. Yeah. I want to know what it's like to sing like that at one point in my life. I'm gonna Ursula all y'all's voices, I swear.
I was a little scared I was getting a little typecast though, because I had to be evil in this, and then in Sister Act at the end of the year in May, I had to be the evil mean person again. I was like, Alan, what are you saying?
You weren't too evil in Sister Act.
Well, it has to be nice
You were
and
just
normal.
cranky. You were just cranky.
No worries.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so let's switch gears. Jerry, obviously you were our amazing bird woman. I love this photo of how just like your makeup and the shadows of your face and stuff like that. And I love that
costume was so hot.
Oh, I can't even imagine how hot that was. Yeah, but I love how people didn't realize until meet and greet that you were not this elderly woman. Like they would be like, "Oh, you are actually a younger person than I thought." Correct?
Yeah.
And I love you have this photo that you sent me of your makeup, which I just absolutely love, the before and after.
Oh,
I feel like that should be an advertisement for like Rodan and Fields, like Fields.
Oh man, that would be a miracle if it did that. Shoot.
It was so good. Jerry, before we have you sing, I want you to talk about. Can you talk about the tiny hands story? I might bring in Brandon for this story because this is a good one.
Brandon.
Tell us about the tiny hand story.
So there was, I don't even know where it came from. I don't know where it came from. But someone gave it to me and said, you should incorporate this somehow into one of my many scenes in the show. Just throw it in there because I have plenty of opportunity. So I was like, oh, shoot, I have to ask Brandon for money. I'll ask Brandon for money with the tiny hand. And so Brandon didn't know. And I come up and I don't even remember what my line was, but I asked you for money essentially. And I opened my hand and I just have this tiny hand and his face.
Doll hand. Like from SNL when she plays, what is the, oh my God. And it was a moment of trying not to laugh or scream from being touched. What is that?
You're like, what? Oh my gosh, this tiny woman's hand. Oh wait, it's not her actual hand.
They were laying on the counter in the women's dressing room when we got there that day, and I remember seeing them and telling Jerry, "Oh my gosh, you've got to use these."
It was so funny. It was so funny.
It was one of the best onstage pranks that I've ever been part of. But
yay!
Yeah. It didn't help that I was already off because Jerry and I had a nightly ritual across the stage in the wind. The curtain dance of dancing.
Yes.
I didn't do it. I never did the curtain dance.
Whatever the song was, we danced inappropriately to it.
Yes.
Every night on the other side of the stage.
Practically perfect, wasn't it?
The what?
I think it was practically perfect because we did feed. Oh no.
No, it was after Feed the Birds. It was later in the show.
That's right.
Any of those fun ones, because all the fun ones when y'all were on stage and we were all backstage singing like in the alcove over there, and so we're like singing supercalifragilistic. We're going nuts.
You had your own choreography. You had your
own choreography. We're doing what we want to do.
The doll hand thing happened though right before I came on stage because I was in the wings watching it happen.
I remember too because I remember seeing something and I was like, what? And I thought, oh no, she forgot her prop. Like I thought maybe like a coin or something like that. And I was like,
had an extra prop.
And then I think Brandon was like, there was tiny hands like in the dressing room. He was like, she gave me tiny hands.
It was so funny. And it was my one interaction with George, with Brandon on stage.
Yeah, tiny hands.
I should have passed that around. We should have passed it around. Jason, like whoever ended up remember that in A Christmas Carol, we would sit there and pass an apple, like all during that whole last scene. There's a whole big long song, and we would pass this apple back and forth, and whoever ended up with the apple at the end was out.
Yeah, it was like we just passed fruit along and stuff like that.
Yeah, just fruit, bread. Okay.
Brandon, I'm going to bring you back. Bethany, I'm going to bring you in real quick because also, Bethany, am I correct? Wasn't there also a paperclip that got passed around?
Yeah.
There was a hair.
I remember Bethany having a paperclip, and she was like, I remember you just being excited that you had the paperclip to hand off on stage.
I was excited. Usually that stresses me out. I actually think somebody gave the certificate to Kristen, and she was like, "I can't do this. You have to take it." Like she was like, "I'm not playing this game," because she had so many.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
No.
I was thinking about it when they brought it up, paperclip. I think I had it at one point, and I literally just like pinned it to my costume and like it flipped with me. And then I think I handed it to somebody off stage, like a kid or something. It was like, here.
I think I handed it to Kristen. Did I give it to you, Kristen? Because I didn't have anyone else to give it to.
Right? Yeah. Jerry's like, I didn't act with anyone in the show except for Kristen.
I think nobody ever touched me during that show, so nobody ever came near enough to be to me.
I think one of the Academy kids handed it to me, but they were literally coming off stage, and I was walking on stage, and they were like, "Here." And I was like,
"Yeah,
no, what in the world?
Hot potato."
I love it. I love it. Okay, so Jerry, the whole night we've been talking about one of our favorite numbers. This was Walt Disney's favorite number that he's talked about, that he would have the Sherman Brothers play for him on the end of a Friday night, and he would have them sing to him before he would leave the studios. And so what a great song to end tonight with it's being a Friday night. And so if you don't mind singing Feed the Birds to us, hopefully that was water and not a wine bottle like you had backstage. Just kidding. But yeah, if you don't mind singing a little bit of Feed the Birds to us tonight to help people.
Yeah, but also keep in mind that Kristen sang this song with me in the show.
Right.
She's not tonight, and so we're
You can do
gonna.
it. We have faith in you. We got faith.
You got it.
Okay, here we go. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way, to the people she calls. Come, buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry, their nests are so bare, all it takes is tuppence for you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sails her ways. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Tuppence, tuppence of love. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence of love. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence of love.
Woo! So good, so good. All the applause. Yay! Oh, so good, Jerry. Beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you.
What a great way-
My people are yelling for me back there too.
I love it. I love it. Everything's so sweet there. Just you kind of just forget how beautiful that song is. You know what I mean? Until you hear it sung again, and just so good. Guys, we know we've run so long tonight, but it was worth it because your talent is that amazing. We thank you guys so much. We want to thank Jerry and Christy and Shannon. Thank you guys so much for being a part and lending your beautiful voices tonight. I can't wait to hug you guys soon in person and all the good love. And you guys keep staying safe, keep social distancing, keep staying healthy because we want you guys back at the theater as soon as we open our doors, auditioning and sharing that amazing talent, both on stage and off stage, because you guys are all absolutely fantastic. I love you guys so much. I'm not going to get emotional.
Love you guys.
Keep it all in on this Friday night. But I love you guys so much. So we're going to say bye to you three ladies. 1, 2, and 3. Let's bring in our amazing family, shall we? Guys, we love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being a part of tonight. But Brandon, your long day of flying and traveling, thank you so much for being a part of this. And Taylor, Bethany. Oh wait, there's Noah. Okay, Noah's camera was going off and on, so there he is. Thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely fantastic. We appreciate you guys again lending your talent at ALT, then lending your talent to ALT tonight. Oh, look at this, Sydney Berg. We miss you, Sydney Berg. Love this show. Love you guys. We love you, Sydney. We miss you. We hope you're doing well in California. We miss you so much, Sydney. Take care of yourself out there, and next time you're can't even talk tonight. Any place near us, let us know, Cindy. We love you, miss you so much. Taylor, take care of yourself. We know you got big things coming up. Hopefully all those things come through soon, and we can see you on a bigger, brighter, awesome stage and pay a whole lot more money to see you. Sadly, that's the one thing I'm not looking forward to when Taylor goes off. I'm like, man,
right.
I got a savings account for to go see Taylor in another show.
Worth it.
Exactly. And Noah, I'm so glad you were being a part of this. Before you move off, you guys are moving to Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love you, miss you. You're going to do great, amazing things in Seattle. We'll visit you. We'll follow your career there as well. You take care and your family, all that good stuff. Brandon, of course, always good seeing you. Thank you so much for being a part of another Alternative Places concert. Bethany with the best lighting. Like, ooh, I love how her lighting has just changed from day to night. I love it so much. Thank you again for being a part of this, Miss Bethany. So good. And then Kristen, of course, as well. Our Mary Poppins, you are absolutely fantastic. Thank you again for being a part of tonight. Literally, all of you guys, thank you so much. And those viewers who are watching tonight, we want to remind you, if you got so moved, if you remembered how much you love ALT, how much you love Mary Poppins, if you feel inclined to donate, of course, visit AmarilloLittleTheater.org. Click on donations. You can Venmo, of course, at Amarillo Little Theater. Ooh, very Vanna White of you there, Bethany, for me. Thank you so much. I love it. And next week, we will not have an Alternative Places concert. We will, if you're like, man, I need my entertainment, tune in on Saturday. That's right, June 13th. Saturday, June 13th, for our Alphas Gala. That's the Amarillo Little Theater Awards. We will be broadcasting it live on tape. We'll have some great video packages put together for it, but we will go live Saturday at 7 o'clock here on our ALT Facebook page and YouTube pages. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Honoring a great season at ALT. And some wonderful volunteers as well. Jenny Morgan, smart idea, starting a GoFundMe to go see Taylor's shows. Amen. I'll join you on that, Jenny Morgan. I love it. Thank you guys again for being a part of tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, ALT is still the place to be. Be sure to support us, especially when we open back up. And look out for great information coming up soon about our streaming of Anne of Green Gables. It may be happening sooner than later, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for being a part of tonight and for watching. And